Salutations, everybody. It is Matty here today, and welcome to another Bethesda discussion. Today, we're visiting Skyrim Anniversary Edition, where there's some hype building up there, but let's pump the brakes ever so slightly. We got some massive problems on the horizon for this brand new update coming to Skyrim, which I know a lot of people are excited about. The good news is, one of these problems is easily remedied. The other, not so much, and it's going to take up the bulk of our discussion. So we're going to get into all of that in today's video. If you're new here and you're looking for more Skyrim Anniversary Edition content, I gotta be honest, we're going to be doing a lot of it, so be prepared. Consider subscribing if you're new. We'd love to have you here. We do a lot of Xbox, Bethesda, reviews, news, all this crazy stuff. I'm ridiculous. Today is also Monday. That means it's Retro Rebound Day, and guess what? I played Resident Evil 4 for the first time in 2021. Yes, never ever played it before. Full review up on the channel right now as someone who, again, has never played it. So I thought it was a pretty unique perspective to have. Go check it out. Link in the description down below. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. Hope you're all having a great day. Let's talk about Skyrim Anniversary Edition. Let's get the bad stuff out of the way. Well, there's all bad stuff in this video. Let's get the more difficult topic out of the way. So modding is very important to Skyrim. It is the largest, most robust modding community across the internet. Skyrim is king because of its mods, and the longevity that these mod creators provide to the game cannot be overstated. So, with Anniversary Edition, the modding scene is going to be jeopardized for some time. Why is that? Let's read a Reddit post that comes from a developer who works on Skyrim Script Extender. He writes, an important PSA regarding Skyrim Anniversary Edition, SKSE, which for those who are new here is Skyrim Script Extender, and other native code mods. The upcoming Anniversary Edition of Skyrim is going to be much more disruptive to the modding scene than it is commonly believed. Back up your executable now and disable updates in Steam. The native code modding scene around Skyrim Special Edition will have been around for about 4 years when Anniversary Edition comes out. During that time, code has been developed to make many plugins portable across different versions of the game. Most plugins use the address library by Meh321. Other plugins use code signature matching, which finds functions that look like a specific pattern. SKSE uses an offline tool I developed a long time ago based around position-independent code hashing. With the AE update, all of these methods will break, and addresses will need to be found again from scratch. The reason for this is, as part of the AE update, Bethesda has decided to update the compiler used to build the 64-bit version of Skyrim from Visual Studio 2015 to Visual Studio 2019. This changes the way that code is generated in a way that forces mod developers to start from scratch, finding functions and writing hooks. Class layouts are unlikely to change, luckily. I didn't ask specifically, but the most probable reason for this is that the Xbox Live libraries used for achievements on the Windows Store are only available for 2017 and later. Some games have worked around this limitation by building the code that interacts with Xbox Live into a secondary DLL that is dynamically loaded by the game, but they didn't choose this option. Plugins using the address library will need to be divided into pre-Anniversary Edition and post-Anniversary Edition eras. Code signatures and hooks will need to be rewritten. We will all need to find functions again. The compiler's inlining behavior has changed enough that literally 100,000 functions have disappeared and either been inlined or dead stripped, to put it into perspective. Doing this work takes a reasonable amount of time for each plugin. I can probably sit there over a few nights and bang out an updated version of SKSE, but my main concern is for the rest of the plugins out there. The plugin ecosystem has been around long enough that people have moved on, and the code is left unmaintained. Effectively, everyone who has written a native code plugin will need to at least do some amount of work to support AE. This realistically means that the native code mod scene is going to be broken for unknown length of time after Anniversary Edition's release. Additionally, I can confirm that AE will be released as a patch to existing Special Edition installations, not as a separate game listing in Steam. I have been in contact with Bethesda since shortly after the announcement, but other than confirming my expectations, they had nothing to offer. Do not harass Bethesda employees about this. Do not harass plugin developers about this, which was something that I noticed across many modders posting on this news. So the long and short of it is, you want to make sure that you disable those updates over on Steam for Skyrim Special Edition immediately if you want to protect your mod list. Now, the good news is not everything's just going to break right away. In fact, a lot of your mod list is going to work, but these plugins, some of these cornerstone mod pieces, are going to be the ones that break. And it's unfortunate because some of these mods have been abandoned because they have been on a game that, let's be honest, I don't think many of us were expecting to get yet another version re-released. Well, actually, maybe a lot of us were, but you get my point, is that a lot of people had already moved on, I think reasonably so. So while Skyrim Script Extender will be updated, something like Address Library for SKSE plugins will need to be updated, and then mods that plug into that would also have to be updated. We can already see modders taking an initiative on this. Wabbajack, which is a popular mod right now for installing mod lists in Skyrim, they say their plan for the upcoming Skyrim Anniversary mod apocalypse is, as you may or may not be aware, some of the SKSE devs have announced that they think the upcoming Skyrim Anniversary Edition may be completely incompatible with SE. And that's the next mandatory update for Skyrim Special Edition that may also suffer the same fate. Too Long Didn't Read, Bethesda is using a newer compiler, and that will require most SKSE plugins to be recompiled and refactored. I think Wabbajack stands in a unique position to help in this situation. For those who are not aware, Wabbajack is an open source, free, automated mod list installer, and for well over 2 years, we have been helping users get from 0 to fully modded Skyrim setups in a matter of an hour and 10 mouse clicks, which is what's great about it. It's one of the ways that a lot of people have modded their games, and you can do it real simply. One of the key features of Wabbajack is its ability to binary patch files. In essence, file A plus patch equals file B. We can leverage this feature to provide a downgrade mini mod list that users can go use from Skyrim Special Edition new to Skyrim Special Edition old. Sadly, I can't test or develop this theory until I have Skyrim Anniversary Edition's build. But as of now, the plan is that shortly, hours after the launch of Skyrim Anniversary Edition, we will be releasing a mod list in the Wabbajack UI that provides a downgrade to the current version of Skyrim Special Edition. Once this mod list is released, the user experience would be to download Wabbajack, install Skyrim SE via Steam, install the Wabbajack downgrade mod list, copy the files from the mod list, install folder to your Steam folder, and continue to mod as you would today, or download any Wabbajack list that requires a downgraded Skyrim. And if you even look around on Reddit, like back when Skyrim Special Edition plugins were introduced, they were really hyped up. People were very excited about this, and since then, again, it's become a cornerstone of modding. So there are some fixes that are already in development, already on the way, but it is an unfortunate position where it's kind of like something that may sound familiar. If you've been watching the channel lately in this past week, you'll see that Fallout 3 also got an update. It's now at version 1.7.0.4. The most significant thing was it removed the games for Windows Live, but also it updated that same visual compiler to the same one that Skyrim has. This resulted in mods being broken for Fallout 3. Now, Fallout 3 is in a much worse position because its modding community barely existed in the first place because everyone was either modding New Vegas or Fallout 4 because those were easier and better to mod for. The communities were much more vibrant there, where Fallout 3 was already kind of in dire straits. And then with this update, it's like, oh God, now we got to fix the bare minimums for this. So effectively, the problem is shared amongst these Bethesda games, and this seemed to be an update that went across all of their titles. So it may just sound familiar, and that is exactly why. The good news is there are fixes on the way, but for now, I would highly recommend, if you care about your mod list and you don't want to lose anything, disable updates on Steam. If you have SKSE installed, run it through the executable there, so it technically won't activate the game when you start it up and have those updates disabled. And that's probably the best advice that you can have right now until, of course, modders fix things. But otherwise, your mod list will end up being broken until they find those writing hooks and other programming stuff that I will never, ever understand. The other part of the bad news for this is something we touched on in yesterday's video, but the clock is ticking, so I wanted to revisit it, which is Skyrim Anniversary Edition's pricing. Now, this update from this modder who works on SKSE has been told by Bethesda it will be a free patch on Steam. Will it work the same on consoles? Will anything change for modding on consoles? What is the exact new content? How much will we be paying for this if we're buying it individually? I think these are fair, very important questions to be asked. Meanwhile, as I said in yesterday's video, they're kind of just tweeting about aquariums, which are connected to the new fishing mechanic that's been introduced through some of the free content coming with the Anniversary Edition update. Look, I get it. It's Skyrim. I'm not going to go ahead and freak out over it because we played it 1,000,001 times at this point in time, so I'm not really upset about anything. But there are people who just want to know how much they're spending. There are people who want to put money aside for this. Maybe they don't need to put money aside for this if they already own Special Edition across any console or Steam. Or will it be something like, I don't know, I remember Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning was a $20 upgrade if you already owned it on Steam. Will it work like that? Will you have to pay for the patch effectively? I certainly hope not, now that they're a first-party Xbox studio and they have a lot more money coming into their studio, but you know, that's just my opinion from the outside. We don't know how the inner workings of Bethesda are. With that said, though, I think it's time to actually start talking about this game. You know, it's coming in just a couple of weeks. It's not even like a month. It's a couple of weeks. It's time. Let's start learning more about Anniversary Edition. Like I said at the beginning, one of these problems easily remedied. The other, not so much. That being modding. But of course, talking about the game, all it takes is one Bethesda Net article. Boom. We're good to go. That's all it takes. We'll see how they do that. And of course, you need to think about, what if I already have Skyrim Special Edition downloaded on Game Pass? Can I upgrade through that pathway? We already know that Game Pass users won't have access to the Anniversary Edition, which to me suggests that they want to monetize this thing. I don't know how heavily. And the longer that they're silent, the more worried I get. Because to me, that says, well, we're going to wait till the last possible minute to tell you. I would really, really be upset if they were like, we're going to charge you $60 for this whole thing. It's like, oh no. Well, we'll see in due time. I imagine with the clock ticking, they'll eventually tell us how much it's going to cost. Either that or maybe a leak on GameStop, something will happen. We'll see in due time. We'll be talking about it very shortly, but I just wanted to address that again in today's video and expand upon those thoughts a little bit more. So thank you so much for watching this Skyrim Anniversary Edition update. What do you think about some of the issues already plaguing this game? Fire away in the comments down below. Other than that, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. And a big thank you to all the patrons, all the members who continue to support the hell out of the content here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.